attract all the clients and customers you want to whatever you are selling online with these 3 prospecting secrets. You're going to discover how that you can tune in to their mind and magnetically attract them, just as you see in this amazing illustration. My name is Baulch, and you're going to learn some wonderful secrets. So you're going to learn 3 brilliant prospecting secrets. You are going to learn the 3 top secrets that will magnetically attract, leading your prospect from the deep abyss that they're in now, they're stuck in now, to their oasis, magically placing them into their Atlantis. And you're going to discover their keywords, Atlantis keywords, to tap in and tune them in to their Atlantis. So you'll learn how to apply this, not tomorrow, but today, in this webinar. So stay tuned, make sure that you've got your phone turned off and take some notes. So you're going to discover some great key points. Number 1 key point is how to position yourself to tap into your prospects' key love words. That's an important tip that you're going to learn as we go deeper into. So make sure that you hang around to learn those keywords. Number 2 key point is you're going to learn how to prepare for them to dive deep with you. And number 3 key point is you're going to learn how to prove you are the one to take them from their desert island they are in right now, that A, to their point B, which will be their oasis island, and how to instantly discover what they want for them. And you're going to learn that and discover that right now. So stay tuned, make sure you turn that phone and everything off, and we look forward to connecting to you after the webinar. Love to hear your feedback. Brian Baulch here to guide you, so stay tuned.
How to attract hungry prospects to you to say yes to what you're offering. Yes versus no. Today we are going to be talking about how to attract people to you. These are people who you want to lead into your business, specifically an online business. But the problem, because there is a problem, meaning the reason why you don't have more people coming to you, attracted to you, is because they're feeling like the little puppy dogs here. They feel like they're being pulled versus being fed. So one of the questions that I'm proposing to you to ask yourself today is, are you pulling their chain to get what you want, to get them in, versus where they say yes to what you are offering, because what you're offering is what they want, and what they want is something that has been discussed between you, your message, and this person. And it doesn't mean that you have to personally engage with people. And what I'm going to be sharing with you today is really powerful. 3 powerful prospecting secrets, because whether you are communicating personally with your leads, your prospect, your audience, or you're doing that through automation like videos, auto emails, maybe it's social media posts, a lot of the quote-unquote gurus that you see online with lots of engagement, meaning when they're posting on Facebook and people are posting thousands and thousands of comments, The reason why they are getting engagement is because they're posting relevant content. And so the most powerful secrets that you must apply, and the reason why you're not attracting thousands to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of hungry people to you who want what you're offering, is likely because you're not doing a good job relating to this group of people. Now, a lot of times, relating to an audience is not something that sounds like where you're complaining about your day, or where you're emotional, so emotional that you're exuding this chaos of a divorce or an injury or an accident or an argument or just something about your life that you don't like, or your business or your finances or whatever situation it is. Most of the time, the problem is a lot of people think that relating to an audience who may not have their whole life together the way they want it to be, it's something that you have to understand. How do you define relate to your audience, right? So one of the powerful secrets we're going to be going through today is how to relate to your audience, not coming from the place where they're at, like, oh, woe is me, to relate to them, but relating to them from a higher plane, from a higher perspective, from a higher emotional place, from your higher emotional place. And if you're going through a hard time and you feel like you need to relate to them from that hard time where you're at because you don't feel like you're being genuine with your audience, that's part of the problem why you're not attracting people. Now, even if you're going through a hard time financially or with your health or your relationships or your business or your career or your kids or whatever stuff's going on, it doesn't mean that you have to disclose that to your audience to relate to them. And that's one of the things that we're going to be discussing today. And I think that's one of the things that will help you shift to attract people to you versus repel them, right? Versus like you pulling the dog's neck and the dog is just saying, I'm not going that way. That's not where I want to go. That doesn't feel good. That feels icky. Nobody's going to want to follow you if you're disclosing information that doesn't feel good to them. So relating to a hungry audience is coming from their perspective, but it's not being at the place where they're at, because that's not where people want to be. So one of the things we're going to talk about is how to relate to your hungry audience so that you can attract them to you. The second thing is, how do you frame what it is you are saying? So one of the things that you'll probably notice, maybe you don't think about it as much as I do, but if you're watching a movie or a show, maybe you're binge watching something on Netflix, or maybe you're listening to some political rant, or you're just flipping through the TV or online, and you're paying attention because what or why? Because something is being articulated to you in a way that is received. It's being articulated. It's being communicated. And so the second most powerful secret is that the gurus don't have to be smarter than you. They just have to be more articulate than you, which maybe is them being smarter than you, right? But they don't necessarily need to know more than you. The people that are succeeding right now more than you are out in the business world or in online marketing, whatever it may be, the reason is because they can articulate how they help solve people's problems better than you can. That is the sole reason. They can articulate to an audience, a specific audience, an audience who wants something. They can frame what it is that they're speaking to, that they're offering, that they're leading people into. Even if you think, and we maybe know, that it's not genuine or authentic or in complete alignment with who they are or what it is that they're even offering. Like, they could be offering something totally different than what they're articulating. But if what they're articulating and communicating on video, through emails, marketing copy, whatever it is, if it's articulated in a way where the audience cannot refuse it, they will always get a yes. And so we're going to be talking about how to do that And I want you to think about it in quick bullet points versus like run-on sentences. I don't know if you remember in school, like being hexed out of the class because you were writing run-on sentences. I was. So I was always very, very aware of not to write run-on sentences. And bullet points are your friend. So you want to be succinct, you want to be clear, and you want to frame things in a way that's articulated to your audience, a specific group of people who can't refuse what it is because it's articulated in such a way that they can't say no to it. And so that's why the marketers who get a win situation, a win-win all across the board with their videos and their emails and their marketing and whatever it is that they're talking about, it's because what they're framing is being articulated in a way that's quick, digestible, easy to understand, and where the audience is saying, well, I can't say no to that. And so that's how you have to frame your mind. So you frame your content from that perspective. If you do that, you won't lose anybody. If you frame the message in a way that allows the audience to say, well, I can't say no to that, you will always win. And your audience, they may not buy right away, but eventually they may, right? You don't know. You don't know. They may buy a month from now, 3 months from now. I have had people purchase products through email, auto email from me 8 years later. You never know. You never know. You gotta follow these powerful prospecting secrets because they work. And it's not really complicated, right? It's not that complicated. The third powerful secret we're going to go over is how to bridge the gap, meaning I want you to like visualize two islands. I don't know if you've ever been on an island. Most of you probably have. I used to live near the Bahamas, and I would boat all the way to the Bahamas and the Florida Keys all the time on the weekend. And often we would anchor the boat in between Florida and the Bahamas and just hang out in the middle of the ocean on the boat. And so I'm able to visualize, and I'm hoping you guys can visualize two islands with a big ocean, a vast ocean in between two islands. And on one side of the island is where you're stuck and there's like limited resources. It's like you've used up all the resources, and maybe the people that live there are like not so nice and friendly, and it's like all your exes, your ex-boyfriends or girlfriends or husbands or wives live there, and all the nasty people are there, or whatever it is. It's just like it's not the place to be. And then you realize like you worked really hard, you got yourself a boat, and you're like, yay, now I can go over to that other island, right? Because that other island, that has the prosperity, that has everything that I need, that I want. It has all of the things that I've worked toward, that I've built over these years, all the things that I've earned, and all of the things that I know that I can accomplish and achieve and receive. And maybe Richard Branson's over there in Necker Island, right? Maybe it's like, oh yeah, that's where the good stuff is. That's like, oh yeah, that's that's the opposite of chaos. That's the opposite of lack. That's the opposite of not having confidence in yourself or your business, right? And so nobody wants to be. It's just their condition, right? People are conditioned to be where they're at. It's just the mind. It has nothing to do with, really what they are, who they are. It's just like the mind that's conditioned. And so let's just say right now you're stuck on an island where you don't want to be. And again, it's all in the mind. And what we want to do is we want to take that boat. We want to make sure we've either got the skills to sail the boat, or we've got the gas to get the boat over to the other island. It's going to take a few hours, okay? And so we don't want to get in a raft because there's sharks and the water's really treacherous and there's pirates, which is true. There's pirates over there. So we want to make sure that we've got everything we need before we head over there. And so most of you, you're looking to bridge the gap, right? whether you're looking to upgrade your life, and we're always kind of shifting, right? We're always looking to upgrade and then upgrade and then upgrade. That's why people get divorced, right? And remarried, because there's like an upgrade with your lifestyle or a promise of something new. That's why people leave one job or career and go to another. I have a girlfriend that just left one career. Now she's going to another, and she's actually getting paid less in the new job, but she's just so fed up because she's been there for so long. And there's been another employee that's been working there for 17 years and has gotten like a, tiny breadcrumb of a raise and just isn't happy. And so she sees her future not there. And so she realized that she had to get another job, even though there was a pay cut. And so bridging the gap, it's something that we're all doing, and at different phases, at different times of our life, whether it's business, career, relationship, self-growth, personal growth, financial well-being, family stuff, personal stuff, passions, right? There's a lot of stuff going on. And so we're always like at different stages of bridging the gap, and sometimes it all kind of hits us at once. And you have to really recognize that you're not the only one going through that upgraded, interested, like really want to get over that other island, right? Your hungry prospects, that's why they would want what you're offering. Now, you could offer anything. I don't care what it is that you're selling. There's stuff that, of course, I would say, well, I don't approve of those things, but I can't judge, right? So I'm just saying, you could offer anything at all. You could offer like a painted rock and say that it's like a magical rock. Okay, like you could offer anything at all. And what I'm sharing with you is that it doesn't matter what you're offering. It doesn't matter. If you can relate to an audience who's hungry for change, and if you can frame it to this audience in a succinct way, a clear way, and in a way where they can't say, oh, no, I don't want that. If you're selling someone on a magical rock, you would say, well, look, do you want to change your life? Are you looking for something more? Are you like trying all these things outside of yourself, but you're not really able to like really ground into what you really want? Well, this rock is going to get you there. This rock, if you hold this in your hands and you believe it, it's going to happen. But you've got to hold the rock in your hand. You've got to believe it. And so you can sell anything, right? But you have to bridge the gap between what they want and what you offer, okay? So those are the two islands. Aside from them maybe living in a crappy lifestyle right now, or just like not liking where they're at, you've got to bridge the gap between one island of what it is that they want. Hey, I want to make more money. Hey, I want a better lifestyle. Into the other island, which is, oh, cool. Well, I've got something over here that you're going to want, because it gets you that. So there's a gap between where they're at and what they want and what it is that you're offering. And so your job, this is the third powerful secret. It's really, really powerful if you understand how it works, right? Like, you're on this island and you've got to believe it. And that's part of the problem a lot of you are facing, right? A lot of you may not believe that what it is that you've got in your hands, this magical rock, is going to change their life. If you don't believe that, then of course they'll never, ever care. How could they? They'll never want what you have to offer if you don't believe that it's like everything that they could ever want. But the first thing you've got to do is understand what it is they want, right? And if you understand what they want, then you've already hit the first piece, which is, well, then you've related to them, and check mark, you've got it. If you know what they want, then it's easy for you to, powerful prospect tip number 2, frame the message in a way that speaks exactly to what they want so they can't say no. So you know what they want, right? You've got to, this is the only work that you should be doing if you want to attract people to you. Like, this is the groundbreaking work that is essential to making sales and also to making people happy, right? Not just like selling a rock, but like following up with your person who just purchased your rock Maybe a month from now, you call this person up and you say, so how's that magical rock worked for you? What have you done to use this rock to get what you want? It's like really paying attention, right, to what it is that people want. And it's not just like the 7 billion people out in the world. It's like, let's look at 100,000 people. Let's look at a group of 5,000 people. Let's look at a group of 1 million people. Let's look at a group of people who are likely to move into saying yes to what it is you're offering. And of course, you've got to know what you're offering. You've got to know what it is, the value of what you're offering, the depth of it. You've got to feel it. You've got to recognize it. And then it's easier for you to then go out and say, oh, okay, well, this rock, this magical rock that I'm offering, you then know how to relate the product, the service, the event, the retreat, whatever it is. You're able to then relate it to what they want because you're coming from where they're at. And also you're able to frame it in a way where they can't refuse it. Well, I can't say no to that. So this is for those of you, and I'm going to be going into just some really groundbreaking stuff. For some of you, it may hit you in a different part of your brain today, and for others of you, it just may take you a little bit deeper into what you've been already practicing. But I want to make sure that you understand, this is for those of you who want to generate additional income streams, and you want to do it through legit online marketing opportunities. So what I'm speaking of today, although it can work to sell, like I said, anything out there, what I'm speaking to specifically is to generate additional income streams through online marketing opportunities that are going to make you money, that are legit and compliant and aren't scams or schemes. Scams are schemes where it's like people are selling you something that have zero value, no value, very, very little value, charging so much for something that's worth basically nothing, or selling you on the idea of selling you on the idea of selling you. And it's just like, there's no value there. And so that's not what I'm speaking of. I'm speaking of actual legit opportunities to make money through those kinds of ways. And to generate additional income streams, what I mean is that you are someone who's interested in making more monthly income. You're someone who wants to save for retirement, retire early, increase your monthly retirement savings. Maybe you've got a 401k lost in the stock market crash in 2008, and you want to recover some of your assets. You maybe are going in debt because your kids are older and they need your help. Maybe your house needs a fixin' and you just have to take some savings money out so you can sell the house or move out. Maybe you got divorced and there's some, differences there with your financial situation. Maybe you're getting married and you're having a baby and there's new requirements financially. Or maybe you want to leave a career, you want to leave a job, you want to get out of a business, you want to sell a business, you're just strapped, you don't want to trade time for money. This is for those of you who want additional income streams and you want to do it in a way that's real, that's true, that's legit, okay? Not by just offering something that isn't legal or that isn't offering value to people in a solid way. Some of you who are here are leveraging Unify's business model to generate passive and residual income. So if you are, welcome, welcome. If someone brought you here who is in Unify and who has maybe suggested that you join, welcome, welcome. There's a lot that I'm going to be talking about today that is grounding what we're doing with Unify, but I'm also speaking to the part of you that can really tap into something that allows you, as Unify does, to leverage opportunities to generate passive and residual income in a way where you are independent and you're not relying on a job, the income of your job, or you don't have to go and chase people, right? So what I'm speaking to you about today is where you are attracting people to you. It's where you become self-reliant. It's where you're not becoming codependent. And that's also what Unify teaches, which is why I love Unify. But what I'm speaking about today is really helping you understand how to attract people to you so that you don't have to be codependent of anybody or anything, any opportunity, but it's you. It's you're the one. And that's where all the people make the money. There's a switch that gets flipped when you're in this industry and online marketing and affiliate marketing and network marketing. And, there's this time when your income just goes and it just skyrockets through the moon because you're able to tap into this way of attracting people to you versus repelling people, because you're not coming from a desperate state. Even if you're in a really bad situation personally, you're not coming from that place. You're coming from service, you're coming from really offering value, and you're coming from a place of being attractive to other people. And so that's what I'm speaking about today. And also, this is for those of you who want to create time freedom. Like I mentioned, leaving a career or something that's labor intensive. Those of you who maybe want to fund a passion project like me, where you need millions of dollars or want millions of dollars to be able to purchase something big or invest into something big. This is for those of you who want that time freedom, who don't want to be stuck having to work your whole lives or invest all of your time into your work and not really have a life of freedom like some people do, right? And so that's what we're going to be discussing today, and that's who this is for. Now, this is absolutely not for those who are unwilling to see or communicate beyond your own limited perspective. Now, for most people, when I say that, maybe they don't know that they're in a limited perspective or they're coming from a defensive place. But some people have self-awareness enough to say, well, yeah, you know what? I've just been unwilling to see things, and I want what I want, and I'm not able to really branch out, and that's why I've been stuck. And so I know some of you either have had clients in the past or maybe even loved ones who, maybe just are incapable of changing because they're just so stuck to their perspective. And there's a famous quote that goes, "People don't change, their behaviors do." And so one of the things that I want to share with you is that even though maybe you or people around you, or maybe you may not even been aware that you're like this, but it's how you've been behaving, right? So what we want to do is we want to shift away from the self-blame stuff. But if you're in that state of mind, then this whole perspective of attracting people to you may not be something that is in the near reach for you, and you may need to do some other groundwork in order to get to this place first. So some people, even though they may tap into the knowledge here, they may not have the applicable awareness to know how to tap into what we're sharing today. And that's okay. It may take some time. But the first thing to do is obviously make sure that the people that you're working with, right, or yourself included, you have that open perspective, not a limited one. So if not just you, but if you have prospects or clients or potential members that you're looking to lead into an opportunity, if you recognize that you've done the greatest job, right? You haven't pulled their neck, but you've led them, you've asked powerful questions, you've connected and communicated with what they want from their perspective, and you've done all of the things with a powerful check mark, and you're like, woo, this was great for me. But then on their end, you're not getting that back. You're like, wait a minute, they're just really blocked right now. Then you've got to take the time to understand, well, then obviously this isn't something that is for you right now, and that's okay. And so you've got to also understand when you're working with prospects, you've got to be able to understand when they're coming from a place of maybe hitting a wall, right? Or just within their own mindset. Maybe it's just not something that they're able to move through at that moment, and that's okay. And you've got to be aware of that. You can't just keep hitting them hard because maybe you're doing the greatest job, but there's something that is stopping them. And so that's where you obviously get to apply certain coaching skills, right? So we've got to know when we're hitting our blocks and when we have our own limited perspectives, when we're in that place, we've got to be aware of that. That's where our self-awareness comes in, and other people around us come in to really remind us. That's why mentors or coaches throughout your life are very powerful people to help remind you of these things, or maybe your spouse or your loved one or business partner. But when your prospect is coming from that place, you've got to know too, because otherwise you're going to be stuck trying to just go on and on and on with your power and your beauty and your magic, and yet no matter what you say, you know, they're just in their limited space. And so you've got to be aware of that as well. This is absolutely not for those who don't want to be or wish to be financially free. Obviously for you. So if you're like, well, I have all the money I need, this isn't something for me, I don't really care, then obviously what I'm sharing with you isn't going to be applicable. And also if you're working with prospects who are not so interested, or they don't desire to be financially free, you know, then maybe it's not something that they want, right? So you've got to be aware of where you're at and where they're at, to understand, you know, maybe this is why results aren't coming in. The other thing is, you know, for those of you who don't want to generate additional income, then what I'm sharing with you may not be as applicable as well. And also, if you're offering an opportunity that helps people make additional income and you haven't asked them if they're even desiring additional income, then, you know, then they're going to say no. So you've got to be aware, obviously, of where you're at and where they're at. And that's why it's really important to have that kind of self-awareness for yourself, and also the awareness when you're working with others. So what are we aiming to accomplish today? I ran through a lot already about the 3 powerful prospecting tips, and I'm going to go into a little bit more nuance over the next 10 or 15 minutes here. So what I want for you to walk away with is that you are clear on your monthly income goal that you wish to accomplish this year. We're going to get into that. I really want for you to be able to understand a simple system that's available for you to generate leads and convert those leads into sales through email automation. I want you to understand that you need a simple system in order to generate leads and to convert those leads into sales. And you need an automated email sequence in place that's attracting people and leading them into and through your system like clockwork. You need to be able to understand that that is one of the key elements for you to be able to succeed in this kind of arena. And the third thing is that what I want for you to walk away with is to know how to attract hungry prospects to you who say yes to what you're offering, and at least to be closer to that. And you can see this amazing image here of someone jumping from one boulder, one mountain to the next. And that's kind of like that island hopping that I was sharing with you, right? Moving between the gap, right? Between where it is that you are and where you want to be. A lot of the self-development gurus have spoken about that for many years, right? And for you, obviously it involves having courage, not fear, not being stuck, and knowing that what is on the other side is what you do want. And that's something that you have to understand, how to help other people move them into that other island, or moving over to that other rock, that other mountain. So here's what I want you to do. What I want you to do is grab a pad of paper and pen. I don't want you to do this on the computer, because it is distracting if you're just typing on computer, and also because your brain takes the information differently. It maintains and sustains and retains the information from a cognitive place at a much higher level, stronger level. If you take your pen right now in your hand and you grab a piece of paper or pad of paper, hopefully you've got your notepad handy. So go ahead and grab that. I'll take a sip of my coffee here while you go grab that. And hopefully you've grabbed your pad of paper and pen. And what I'd love for you to do is to get clear. So what we're going to do is just take a deep breath here for a moment, just clear out the stuff that's going on in the mind, release anything that's distracting from you, or any negativity surrounding money, or any disconnect that you have between you and the money that you want to generate. And so let's just take a deep breath together. And what we're going to do is we're going to set your monthly income goal now and clarify this with your prospects. This is something that you must do for yourself and also with your prospects. If you're not doing this, when you get somebody on the phone, when you're making posts and videos, specifically when you're working with people personally, moving them into maybe an upsell or leading them into something that you're wanting them to purchase because you know it will help them get what they want. Maybe you know that it's going to help them, but do they know? They have to know. This is going to move you toward that direction of attracting a lot more people to you. And it's something very simple. It's a question. What is the monthly income that you would like to generate? What is the additional monthly income that you would like to generate? And we're talking about this next year, right? So we're in February, so March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So for the next 9 to 10 months, how much money do you want to be generating per month over the next 10 months? It's not necessarily what you've been making before. It's something that you're wanting to move into. Now, one of the things that is possible is that you could write down $100,000 more per month that you want to generate. And I would ask you, okay, well, if you want to make an extra $100,000 per month extra each month, starting March 1st through December 31st of 2019, I would ask you, well, have you ever generated in your life on your own with your own business, not in a career job paycheck, but with your own business selling other people's products or your products, have you ever been able to generate, or have you ever generated $100,000 a month? If you say no, I would say, okay, well, how much have you been able to generate? Let's say you say, well, $4,000 a month consistently. I would say, okay, well then let's maybe jump to an extra 5 or 8,000, even 10,000 per month. That's a much more realistic goal. It doesn't mean that over the next 5 years or 3 years or 2 years, you could make that extra 100,000, but there's a huge gap. And a lot of times, for some of you, you shoot yourself in the foot and you just go into this self-deprecating mode of, just like never going to happen. And you've got to be willing to know that there's, over the next few months, it's possible to make extra monthly income, but you've got to set an amount that works for you, that's doable. So let's write that number down. I'm going to write down my monthly number on a piece of paper right now, and I ask you to do that as well. And this is a question that if you start asking your prospects, you're going to get them engaged with you, and you're going to get them connected to what they want, which is what? More monthly income. So what I would do is I would say, okay, if I have somebody on the phone, I would say, well, what number did you write down? Well, let's say they wrote down $20,000 because right now let's say they're making $14,000 a month right now, and they want to move it up to 20 grand a month. I would say, okay, great. I would say, so what are the things right now that you've been doing in your business that have allowed you to make the 14K a month? And so I would have them list out, okay, well, I've been doing this, I've been doing this, I've been doing this, I've been doing this. And then I would say, okay, well, are there any areas in your life, your relationships, with your sleep patterns, your eating habits, your health patterns, anything like at all that's been in the way of you moving beyond that 14K a month? Anything at all that's been, limiting you or stopping you? And maybe they would say, yeah, my father just passed away, and so I've been really depressed, and the 14K actually, it's actually more like 10. I was making 14,000 a month, now I'm making 10, and it's because I've gotten really depressed. And so having the 20, that's like a really good move for me, and it really feels good, and it feels like it's doable. And so the thing that you want to do when you're working with people, of course, attracting people to you, is understanding that you need to understand what it is they want, where they're at, what they've been able to accomplish, and what are the things that they're doing to create the life that they're at now, right? So if they have a career job, it's a little bit easier because it's like, oh, okay, here's what I do right now from my 9-to-5 job or 8-to-6 job. You know, here's what my day looks like. Here's what my paycheck looks like. And then when I get home, that's the problem. When I get home, then I'm exhausted. I have to cook dinner for my family. Then I have to clean the house after my kids. And then I get into a fight with my spouse because I'm exhausted. And then that's where the issue is, right? And so you always want to find out, well, where is it that they're at? What have they done to accomplish what they've been able to financially? Where are the gaps? Where are the spaces that have been limiting them emotionally, mentally, physically, all of the areas financially? And then, of course, where is it that they want to go? And then the two of you, or you even in a video, you and your audience speaking to this and being clear on, of course, yes, you would say, I'm able to help you move into that income goal that you desire. But here's what we've got to do. We've got to eliminate all of the stuff that's in the way that's preventing you from moving toward that goal or into that goal or closer to that goal, away from where you've been and what you don't yet want. And so what I'd like you to do is take a sticky note and write down that realistic number right now, put it on your computer, your laptop, your desk. And what I would also ask you to do, those of you who have an email list, you have a list of prospects to you. Maybe you don't know if they're hungry yet, but if you have an email list right now, any email list at all, and you know that potentially what they want is an additional income stream monthly, one thing that you can do after this session is done is you can send out an email and ask them very, very profoundly what their monthly income goal is. Just plain and simple. You can even put a picture of a pile of money, just like this image right here. Get them all excited, right? That's what moves them into getting hungry and salivating into your email inbox. And then guess what? I have a hunch that if you send out this email to a list of, let's say, 300 people, I have a feeling that maybe 2 or 3 of them out of the 300 will email you back right away and email you with their income goal. And guess what that just did? Just guess. Well, hopefully you guessed that it attracted hungry people to you, right? That's what we're talking about today. So a lot of you may be sitting there thinking, well, I want to make $100,000 a month, but you're not willing to send out an email to your list asking them how much money monthly they want to make, getting them all salivating over a nice crisp bill of $100, you know, in their email inbox. Like, if you're not willing to send out an email and ask a question like that, that's part of the problem, right? You're asking them to buy something without actually getting them to want to engage with you. But one of the things that is really powerful in doing something like sending an email asking how much money monthly do you want to make right now in your life, and, you know, is it exciting you to think if you could make an extra 10,000, is that what you want? You know, just imagine what that does now between your prospect and where you want to lead them into. And what that does is that gets them now engaged, and the conversation now begins, or is re-enlivened, because you've just woken them up to what they want, right? That's what we've been talking about. And if you don't do that, then how would your prospects know that what it is that you're offering is what they want? Because number one, you haven't shown that you cared. Number two, you haven't shown specifically that you're available in the area of what they want, which is more money. You haven't let them know that. Maybe you've been talking about your children going off to college. You haven't even mentioned additional monthly income streams to your audience. How would they even know that that's what they get from you, or are led into with what you're offering? You have to again, remember when I talked earlier about getting out of your own perspective and into theirs? It doesn't mean stop being a mom if you're a mom, or stop doing the laundry if you've got laundry to do, or cooking dinner for your kids if that's what it is that you've got to do. But it doesn't mean you have to talk about that in your emails all the time. If you do talk about it, there's a way to talk about it in a way that attracts people to you. Like, hey, wow, just got back from my 9-to-5 job, had to do the laundry and cook dinner for my kids. One of the things that really excites me is that I get to generate additional monthly income because I have a system that allows me to do that. Now, if you sent out an email like that, then your story of being a mom doing laundry, cooking dinner is actually exciting. And guess what? It attracts those types of people because now you've related to them. But you're not, oh, woe is me, the laundry, the bills, the kids, so you've got to understand how to frame your message. Remember, we talked about framing the message in a way that is attractive to what it is that people want. And again, when you're speaking to an audience like that through an email and you're getting them excited, like, hey, how much monthly income do you want to make right now? Let me know. Email me back right away. Excited to hear more. I promise you that people will email you back. And again, it opens up the conversation for you to lead into helping them get what they want based on what it is that you're offering. And again, you could offer anything at all, but you've got to be able to and willing to engage with your audience and move them closer to their goals with the conversation. So hopefully you wrote down your monthly income goal and maybe you put it on a sticky note at your computer and you're going to look at it every day to get closer and closer to that. And I ask that you ask your audience to do that as well. So one of the things we want to do is assess your current work situation. So this is something that I want you to do. I also want you to do this with your prospects. Where are you at and where do you wish to be? Are you a busy career professional, 9-to-5er? Are you self-employed? Do you own a franchise? You're just like, oh, so busy, ball and chain. Are you a contractor or in a union? You've got a physical, laborious job. So where are you at? Are you struggling with your online business? Okay, so you also want to understand where your audience is at. You can ask them through an email, on the phone, and webinars, on videos, through posts. Understand, first of all, where you're at, but where are they at? And then where do you, and of course, where do they wish to be? Do you want to leave that job behind? Do you want to stop trading your time for money? Most of you, I assume, are going to say, well, absolutely, yes. Yes, 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 yes. I don't want to trade my time for money anymore. Done with it. But I got to go back to that job tomorrow or on Monday. So first of all, you've got to know your current work situation. You've got to be able to assess this for yourself. You've got to be clear with where you're at and what you want. You've got to be clear. You've got to be clear because that's how you're going to start relating to your audience. That powerful prospect tip number one, right? You've got to be able to understand how to relate with your audience in an empowering way, not in a codependent, needy way. And then this is something that if you're clear, then of course you're going to be able to ask your audience, okay, cool. Are you self-employed? Are you trading time for money? Is that something that you still want to do? If you are clear, then you're not going to have any issue attracting people to you because this is the key. You've got to be able to understand where they're at and what they want and where they want to be. But if you're not clear for yourself, then that's the tricky piece. So go ahead and be sure that you're able to clarify this for yourself. And then obviously you're doing that for your audience as well. Assess where most people are at who want to work with you or who you want to attract. Assess where people are at who want what you want. Now, this is a beautiful beach picture on an island here with a hammock, right? I know most of you are like, oh, it's snowing right now. There's snow on the ground. I wish I could be there. Well, yeah, most people want to be there. But what I want you to do is to consider the majority of people in the world are wanting what you want, okay? The majority of people out in the world, they are wanting to generate more income like you. They're wanting to go and leave their snowy land and plop their tushies on a nice hammock on the beach. Most people want that right now in this moment, right? So can you just imagine, like, stop thinking about yourself for just 1 second and think that, well, wait a minute, other people want that too. I want that, but wait, they want that too. So now you're not only holding yourself in this perspective of like, oh, I want that, but you're like, oh, most people want that as well. Ooh, okay. So now you're starting to really relate with them, and it's not just about you, right? You're not just like perspective plopping in yourself. You're like opening up perspective to them as well. Most people want to have the ability to do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. That's the key. Most people just want to be able to do whatever they want whenever they want. It's not anything really more than that when you boil it down. There are a lot of specifics, of course, but people they want that freedom. Most people do. And so when you come from that perspective of realizing that and then allowing your prospects to share that with you, like, yeah, I just want to have the ability to do what I want when I want to do it. It's going to allow you to open up with your prospects and, of course, have them trust you and be able to relate with you in that way. And that's really what you want to start understanding. Like, most people, they just want what you want. Attracting people to you, prospecting, marketing, it doesn't have to be that challenging when you're able to understand that most people want what you want. Now, one of my favorite books of all time is Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. The only book you need to lead you to success. I love it. So the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. This was a quote in the book. Dale Carnegie writes in How to Win Friends and Influence People, there is one longing, almost as deep, almost as imperious as the desire for food or sleep, which is seldom gratified. So it's barely ever met. It's what Freud calls the desire to be great. It is what John Dewey calls the desire to be important. And Dewey has this quote where he says, the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. Many of you may know where I'm going with this, but where is it? Where's my quote? If you want to be interesting, you've got to be interested. So you have to show that you care about where they're at and understand where they want to go. If you want to be interesting, if you want to be taken seriously, if you want people to buy what you're offering, you've got to be interested in what they're wanting. And so a lot of you may not be doing that, right? And so the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. Well, if that's the case for I would say the majority of humans in the world, then you've got to take the importance off of yourself if you want to sell something to other people. And you've got to put the importance in their category. You've got to frame things for them so that they understand that they're being the one that is on the spotlight of importance. And so that's why a lot of marketers speak to those kinds of needs and highlighting other people's importance and really highlighting that kind of service discussion, because that's our human nature. It's our human nature. It's what moves us. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning. And it's what pushes us to do anything at all. It's the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important, almost as important as food or sleep, because those are necessary, right, for life to be. But the argument could also be the reason why we eat and sleep is because we have this deep urge to be important. So You've got to think about that. You've got to think about that when you're marketing. You've got to think about that when you're trying to get people into what it is you're offering and sell them on something. You've got to think about this. The deepest urge in these people that you're looking to attract and lead is that they desire to be important. So how can you communicate with them? How can you speak to them and with them in a way that allows them to say, I feel important. This leads me there. Lead with what they want by asking them the right questions to inspire them to realize that you can help them, right? You're not pulling their chain, but you're leading with them. You're leading them with what's inspiring to them. So what does your hungry audience view as important for them in their lives? This is something that I thought was interesting to consider. Family, self, work, right? I want you to, first of all, think of it for yourself. What do you view as important for you? Family, self, work. What's important for you? Maybe where is like the majority going? Where's the majority of desire going for you? Your hungry audience, you've got to understand this, of course, for yourself, but this is going to help you attract lots of people to you. You're going to attract people to you because you're aware of what they view as important. And one of the conversations that will attract people to you, whether it's through email or video or post or anything at all, is by figuring this out, asking questions. What's important to you most? Maybe you ask for a survey, right? Maybe you ask people to rate from 1, 2, or 3. What's most important to you? Most moms might say family. People who maybe are single maybe would say self. People who may not have high value for themselves, maybe having a hard time in their family or don't have a family, maybe work in the bottom line is number 1. Very, very, very rarely or seldomly will you hear someone say, well, it's all equal for me. There's no separation. Usually for your audience, because they want something, right? They're coming to you because they want something, or they need something, or they want a change in their life, or they want more money, or they need more money for retirement. They want a better lifestyle. There's something that they want. So the reason why they would come to you for anything at all is because they're hungry for something. You want to know what they're hungry for. What's important to them. If family is not important for your audience and it's important to you, then you've got to suck it up and not really talk about family that much, if at all, in your messaging. If you realize that the majority of people that you're trying to reach, they don't see family time as like their top 3. But for the most part, if you have a family and you feel that family time is important to you, you're likely going to attract other people who feel that way as well, right? But you want to understand, people are different, and there's at different ages, we have different interests. When people are over the age of 60, there's certain interests that they have versus when they're 20. So we want to understand what our audience is hungry for and what they view as important. And if you want to just jot down like a maybe percentage-wise, how much percentage-wise do you see for yourself? Work in the bottom line, self-passions, me, myself, and I, family time. And self-passions is also, the self-growth, spiritual growth kind of thing. It's about you growing. It's also about you making a bigger difference, right? Like what you have to offer, like you working on that. Work in the bottom line, that's kind of like an external thing. And family time as well is pretty external. And so I think you'll find a lot of people are more into the self because that's what's most important for most of us, right? Again, unless the family is, then, you know, you may want to consider making more posts about work to move people into more of the money talk so that you start attracting a hungry audience. Because maybe people that are interested in family time maybe aren't as hungry. Maybe they are because of how you're able to frame it. Maybe you're able to address how important it is to have more time with your family, and so they need to be able to leave that career and job, make that extra income each month, have that opportunity, learn where can I find more opportunities to allow me to leave that career so I can stay at home with my kids and not send my kids off to a babysitter or to after school stuff. So there's a lot of things you can learn with real simple questions. What's most important to you in life? Family, self, work. Now that we've done some little groundwork, we're going to tap into the formula for attracting hungry prospects to you so they say yes. So again, relating to your audience, coming from their perspective, framing what you're helping them solve in quick bullet points so they cannot refuse you and you get a yes, yes, yes. Bridging the gap between where they're at and what they want and what you offer so that it's clear what you're offering is what they want. Yes. One of the things that I really love to address here with you is that if you want to generate more interest, meaning attract more people to you, people who are purchasing whatever you're offering, you've obviously got to build an audience. You've got to build an audience, and the audience they've got to be hungry, of course, right? And in order to do that, while we're building the audience, you've got to understand, okay, well, how do I relate to them? So the majority of humans connect to potential prospects in a way that's self-centered, right? Versus audience-centric. You must listen and speak from where they want to be. And so over on the left here, this is a repulsive way where most marketers come from who aren't coming from a coaching culture. The audience is not heard, right? They're not being heard because the person who's communicating is coming from their perspective versus the attractive marketer listening, paying attention, connected, caring to what the audience wants. This is listening. This is not listening to what the audience wants. Repulsive, attractive. Do you get the point? If you are somebody who's used to being marketed this way, then obviously you probably learned some bad tricks or skills, and that's why you're getting no's. How could somebody say yes when they're being forced or bullied or manipulated, right? And it's attractive, though, to listen and to hear and to understand where they're coming from. And you don't need to be one-on-one with somebody to have this. I do this through automation, through emails, through videos, through posts. I don't necessarily need to talk to people in order for them to get a yes. I just have to know what to ask and how to listen. So what you want to do is you want to stop chasing after customers and leads based on your need of wanting to make money. You've got to focus on your ability to lead others to what they want so they appreciate you. So this image up on the top right of some, guy, maybe naive and vulnerable, opening the door to a vampire, right? There's a lot of vampire energies out there that are, like that. And that's what a lot of people feel, right? A lot of people who open the door to your marketing are scared because that's maybe what they're used to, the vampire energy, right? Sucking the life out of them or the money. Over on the left down here, there's some guy in a business suit chasing after the dollar. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be chasing after the dollars because it's just a constant chase. You want to attract money to you. And you've got to do that by understanding and listening to what people want, not coming from what you want. You can't chase after money or after people. So you've got to show that you care about where they're at, and you got to understand where they want to go. Again, You've got to be interested in them. So the second powerful prospecting secret is knowing how to frame what you're helping them solve through quick bullet points so that they can't refuse you when you get a yes. Now, the image of a woman here holding a frame is you have to hold the frame. You do have to hold the frame, but you've got to know what goes in the frame, of course. So to attract people to you, you must be quick, succinct, to the point, and compelling in how you communicate what you're offering. Most of you know that, but you're not doing that. It cannot come from your perspective. So this is where the glitch is, or go on and on describing the solution, which is what a lot of people do, before you describe the problem. So most people just don't know how to describe, like, you know, you are in a job right now that you don't want to be at. You know, there's a problem happening. Most people don't take enough time to really identify the problem in a compelling way, because most people are coming from their own perspective. And that's why marketing could have a bad rap out in the world, because most people are selfish and come from their own perspective. And so the secret is to shift into their perspective and look at what their problem is that you're attempting to solve. But before you describe the solution, you've got to understand how to speak to what their problems are and what they want. You must first list out key benefit bullet points. I call them key benefits of what your audience wants, what their problems that they're facing are now, and how you intend to lead them into the solution. So that's the key. And that's what you want to spend your time doing when you're communicating with your audience. Let me go back. You want to describe very quickly and succinctly what your audience wants, what their problems are. So what are their problems? What are they facing right now? And how you intend to lead them into the solution. Now, the third thing of you intending to lead them into the solution, it's not where you're like giving them the solution right there. You're just describing how you intend to get them there. It's kind of like saying, you know, I'm going to cross the river and I'm going to use this really cool raft that I bought at the local store, the local camping store. And the raft, it fits only 4 people, and it's made of this, this, and this. Now, people, they don't give a crap what the raft is made of. They don't care how many people it fits. They just want to know, is it going to get me over to the other side? They just want to know that you've got the raft and you're going to get them over to the other side. The other problem that most people do in marketing is that they describe too much what's over on the other side before saying, like, oh yeah, I'm going to guide you there through this, through that, by this, by that. Meaning, like, I'm going to help get you over there because I've got the raft, and the raft allows me to help you with this. The raft allows me to help you with that. Again, addressing their problems, addressing their needs. Not so much addressing exactly what's over on the other side. Like, you're going to do that too. But the very first thing you've got to do is understand how to communicate how you intend to lead them over there, because that's what wins them over. I think you guys understand what that means, right? So how do you frame what it is that you're helping people solve with bullet points, key benefits, which they can't refuse, so you get a yes? Well, you have to understand that what you're providing as valuable is what they want and need. So you have to understand, oh yeah, what I've got, what I'm offering is valuable. You've got to understand that. And you've got to understand that what you're going to be offering them is going to serve them in achieving their goals and dreams and desires. So one of the questions you could ask yourself and like work on this marketing copy here is, what am I providing as valuable that people will want and need? Will this serve people in achieving their goals? Who can it serve? What dreams would it serve? What desires would it serve? If someone were to purchase this product or service that I provide, this program that I'm offering, how does it help them? What will it allow people to achieve? What will it give them access to? What will it move them toward? What is it? Describe it briefly. How will it help them get what they want? Describe it briefly. Why would they want it? That's one of the things that most people leave out. I used to ask my clients this all the time. Why do they want what your book is speaking about? Why do they want it? Why would they want it? Why would they buy it? Why would they need it? You have to be able to describe that and articulate that. And that's what will help you attract people to you. What is it? Describe it briefly. How will it help them get what they want? Describe it briefly. Why would this audience, these people want it? Why would they need it? Why? If you come from this framing before connecting with your project or your program or your messaging, you will get a yes. Because you're going to attract people who want that. Again, one of the powerful prospecting secrets is you can't be vague. You can't be vague. And it's repulsive. You're going to get a no because you're not quite framing things in a way that's leading to them saying yes. Them saying yes is, so are you interested in retiring early? Based on what I heard, it sounds like you want to get out of that job that you've been at for 32 years, and I'm assuming you want to retire. Are you looking to retire soon or early? Yes, I am. You got a yes, right? You want to ask questions that get yes. Okay, cool. So based on the amount of years you've got left, with the time that you've got left, I'm assuming that you're willing to still put a little bit of time and energy in if you're able to generate some additional income. Is that something that you'd be interested in doing, putting a little bit more time into doing something that allows you to generate more income monthly on the side? Yes. Okay, great. How much time do you have right now to even do that? Like an hour a day, an hour a week? Like, what are we looking at? Like, because all we really need is about 4 hours a week. Oh yeah, I can do that. Sure. Yeah. So you just got 3 yeses, and you're moving them into attraction versus repulsing them away. So you want to ask questions that lead to yes. Okay. You don't want to frame things in a way that's vague or that gets a no. Inspire them to come to their own conclusion to say yes to you, and you want to be able to ask these questions. Ask your prospects these questions so you get a yes. Are you looking to generate monthly income without trading your time for money? What would they say? If you ask your prospects, are you looking to generate additional monthly income without trading your time for money? Yes. Okay, great. So if you had extra monthly income coming in, would you feel less stress? Well, yes. Would you feel more confident about being able to retire or your retirement now if more money was coming in each month? Yes. Okay, cool. Well, if you had the option to, would you like to retire early or sooner? Obviously, if they're not retired yet. Well, yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So you ask questions and they come to a yes conclusion. Now, your framing is based on them automatically saying, oh, whatever this person's offering, it's close, it feels closer to what I want. You don't even need to tell them what you're offering if you're asking these types of questions right now, because you're moving them toward something that they want. You're leading them. This is leading people, and where they come to their own conclusion. Now, obviously, you wouldn't ask these questions if what you're offering wouldn't help them get that. Obviously, like if you're asking these types of questions and then leading them into selling, giving them like a shoe, like selling them shoes or something, it's like, obviously, I'm not going to sell you clothes. Like if I'm asking you these types of questions, I'm leading you into what will allow you to get that. So obviously you have to ask your prospects questions that lead into letting them know, here's, Yeah, okay, great. You know, what I'm offering you is an ability to generate additional monthly income. Is that what you want? So again, what are you offering, and can you ask questions in a way that leads to a yes? Again, you can offer anything at all, even if you are selling clothes or shoes or cars. You know, you would frame questions in a way where people would say yes. And if they overcame their fear of not having enough money, would they trust you more? Absolutely. So a lot of times people have this fear, fight or flight comes in, right? Fight or flight mode, fight, flight, or freeze. And a lot of times the primitive brain kicks in and people get scared. People get scared. And so what we've got to do is we've got to move through the primitive croc brain. This is something I teach in our marketing classes. First, got to get through the croc brain, through the midbrain, amygdala, the fight or flight is there, and then into the neocortex for higher decision making. And so that's what you've got to do. You've got to move through the primitive part of the brain so that they can trust you. You've also got to show them proof of what they want is what you're offering based on results. Social proof is huge now that social media is running the show. People don't care about what your products do or how pretty your product is laid out on your website. They care about how well you articulate what you offer and that they can trust it and you, backed by social proof. They want to feel that what you're offering will help them achieve what they want because they cannot or will not get there by themselves. And with your offering, it's possible, or at the least easier to accomplish. With your offering, they can get there. Without your offering, maybe they won't or can't. And if you have some social proof, like people on your Facebook page or results or just like snapshots or anything at all that shows that what you're talking about is backed by some data results, and then you can articulate that clearly, that's what matters. It's not what your product looks like on a website. Now, one of the things that I want to show you, this is Tai Lopez, who I think is a brilliant linguist. He's amazing at getting people to want what he's offering and social proof as well. In his garage, he has like all these fancy cars and stuff. And I found this image of one of his ads in an article because somebody got upset. And they said, you know, I was upset because this guy Tai Lopez like had all these obnoxious ads and they were really annoying, and you know, WTF, like what's going on here? So one of Ty's admin associate guys, someone who worked for him, came out and said, well, that ad was meant to be obnoxious to a degree. And the goal was to go viral so we could sell more of our programs. It seemed to end up working pretty well, wink. So marketers that are kind of going this style, you know, it's not that they don't know that they're being cheesy or obnoxious. You know, that's kind of part of what they, you know, that's their thing, right? Because it gets attention, goes viral, it's like out there, it's like outlandish, it's getting people's attention, it's like in people's faces, it's like, what the heck is he doing? What's he showing? What's this all about? It's shared, it's like social proof, right? Millions and millions and millions and millions of views, it's like going out there crazy. And of course, the more people see it, the more people purchase. And so you have to understand the perspective, right? Like Tai Lopez is actually, he's a really good guy, and he has this company that offers healthy cows, like meat, like from happy cows, not from like hormone cows, like actually like cows treated really well. And he doesn't make money off of it, but he leads people to it because one of his mentors owns a farm with happy cows, and they treat the cows really, really well. And he was so impressed because he cares. And so, you know, sometimes we have a tendency of judging people because of like how they promote. And it is a little disingenuous when they're not really like being who they really are in their marketing. Like, I understand. But at the same time, they're not doing anything wrong per se, right? Ty, he's not doing anything wrong, but he may annoy you. He may be obnoxious to you, or maybe like you're like in awe of him, like, wow, because you understand what he's doing, right? He's able to get people's attention, whether he's obnoxious at it or not, and he's able to move people and motivate and inspire them into purchasing something. And he's actually a pretty good guy. So again, whether you like marketers or not, whether you like these guys or not, like what they're marketing at all. And I don't know about his programs. I can't tell you. I haven't purchased them. But what I can tell you is that, this guy, Ty Lopez, who's a marketer, comes from the perspective of where people are at. And that's what he did to sell his programs. He came from the perspective of where his audience is at and what they want. So he shows these fancy schmancy cars. Sometimes like he's in like a private jet with like models, drinking champagne. It can be pretty obnoxious, and it gets attention, and it's a lot of what people want, even maybe they don't admit it, right? And so a lot of this outlandish stuff you see in ads, I'm not saying for you to do it. I'm saying, you've got to speak to what people want, not where you're at. It's not about you, it's about them. Now, it may be selfish and it may be about Ty because he wants to sell more programs, but maybe what he's trying to do, which most marketers are, is, they want to help people. And what they're offering, they know can help people, and they want to get it in front of people, and they're going to do what they've got to do to get it in front of people to get in front of people's faces, to get their attention. And so a lot of times you see ads and marketing about getting people's attention. But again, think about where people are at and what they want. I'm not saying to be cheesy and to throw like, Lamborghinis and dollar bills in your video. I'm just saying like, speak to what people want and where they're at. So we covered 3 powerful prospecting secrets relating to your hungry audience, coming from their perspective, framing what you're going to help them with and how you're going to solve their problems in quick key bullet points and key benefits, which they can't refuse. So they say yes. And then bridging the gap between where they're at, what they want, and helping them with what you're offering, moving them into what you're offering in a way that's clear and that lets them know that what you've got is what they want because you've asked questions. Whatever you're offering, whatever you're selling, whatever you're leading people into, know the value of it for you, be able to articulate the value of it and present it. Be sure you're presenting it in a way that shows that you care about what your audience wants and needs help with. Know that you can ask a lot of questions to your audience through social media, through posts, through ads, through emails and video, all of it. You want to show that you care about what your audience wants and needs help with. And you can do that very simply, but you've got to come from that place within you, that context, that mindset within you. Because whatever you're offering, you can attract a lot more people to it if you show that you do truly care about where your audience is at and what they need help with. You've got to actually care. It can't be fake. So some of you may need to do some more work in really grounding into the part of you that does care. And it may take some time for some of you to come into that space. So attract more leads, reach out to the person who brought you here to this webinar. If you're watching this as a replay video, awesome. Come back and reach out to the person who led you here and make sure that you ask them more about our lead conversion and sales machine, our lead generation and sales conversion machine, about the new opportunities of selling other people's products and programs to generate now money and monthly income, additional monthly income. Reach out to the person about Unify potentially to talk more about how the Unify products work. To attract and generate leads, it's absolutely something all of you can do if you come from that right mindset, and you've got to have the right system and structure in place, and that's what we have created. We've created a system for you to be able to attract leads and convert those leads into sales faster, more simply, in a systematic way and to turn it on autopilot where it's coming over and over again. I love freeing up my time and helping people free up their time. I love helping people get better results. I love offering a lot of value. I love helping other people offer value to their audiences. I love doing it through automation. I love doing videos. I love doing webinars. I love doing email campaigns. And I've generated millions of dollars through those methods using high ticket products, selling high ticket products, selling on the phone, through webinars, through emails, through videos. And it's something that, when you have a system that attracts leads and converts leads for you, it's possible, it's doable. It's something that anybody can do. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to leave your job tomorrow when you start using systems like this, but it is something that you can shift out of, and it can happen very quickly. I encourage you to reach out to the person who brought you here so that you can connect to this powerful process of attracting people to you and generating more income so that you can reach your goals and live out your dreams, because that's what we're really here for. I'm so excited to hear from you. If you enjoyed this, share this, email this out, post it. I'll be able to share with you more about our system. So be sure to ask the person who brought you here as well. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Okay, welcome back. Now that you've taken some great, wonderful notes, now is the time to apply them. Now is time to connect all that together. So let's connect now to get those brilliant leads, more than you can handle. So go ahead and click fusionsmartsystem.com, and we look forward to connecting with you very soon and helping you transition and guide you and tap in to that system that you know that you can apply today. So let's connect right now, guys, and we look forward to connecting with you. This is Brian, looking forward to connecting you very soon. So go ahead and click again, Fusion Smart System, and let's get connected. Bye.